This is Shishi, the sixth reading of our weekly Torah portion of Vayikra, Leviticus. It starts in chapter 4, verse 27, and ends in chapter 5, verse 10. It's 19 verses. Starting with verse 27 of chapter 4. V'im nefesh achat techeta bishgaga me'am ha'aretz be'asota achat mimitzvot Adonai asher lo te'asena ve'ashem. If one person of the people of the land commits a sin unintentionally, by his committing one of the commandments of the Lord which may not be committed, incurring guilt. O hoda elav chatato, asher chata behevi korbanos irat, izim, temima nekeva al chatato asher chata. If his sin that he committed is made known to him, he shall bring his sacrifice, an unblemished female goat, for his sin that he committed. V'samach et yado al rosh hachatat, v'shachat et hachatat bimkom ha'olah. And he shall lean his hand on the head of the sin offering, and he shall slaughter the sin offering in the place of the burnt offering. V'lakach hakohen midama be'etzba'o, v'natan al karnot mizbach ha'olah, v'et kol dama Yishpoch el yisod hamizbeach, and the Kohen shall take some of its blood with his finger and place it on the horns of the altar used for burnt offerings, and then he shall pour all of its remaining blood at the base of the altar. Vet kol chelba yasir kasher husar chelev me'al zevach shlamim v'yiktir hakohen hamizbeach v'rech nichoach l'Adonai v'chiper alav hakohen v'nislach lo. And he shall remove all of its fat, just as the fat was removed from the peace offering. The Kohen shall then cause it to go up in smoke on the altar as a pleasing fragrance to the Lord. Then, thus, the Kohen shall make atonement for him, and he will be forgiven. V'im keves yavi korbano lechatat Nikeva timima yebienu. If he brings a sheep for his sin offering, he shall bring an unblemished female. V'samach et yado al rosh hachatat, v'shachat oto lechatat b'mkom asher yishchat et ha'olah. He shall lean his hand upon the head of the sin offering and slaughter it as a sin offering in the place where he slaughters the burnt offering. V'lakach hakohen midam hachatat v'etzba'o karnot mizbeach ha'olah v'kol dama yishpoch el yesod hamizbeach. And the Kohen shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and place it on the horns of the altar used for burnt offerings, and then he shall pour all of its blood onto the base of the altar. And it looks like I'm missing verse 35 here out of Hebrew. I know what I could do. Okay, I got a chumash that has it. For some reason, I guess it didn't copy that verse 35. Okay, what in the Hebrew is Vet kol chelba yasir kasher yusar chelev hakesef mizevach hashlamim v'yiktir hakohen otam hamizbecha al yishe Adonai v'chiper alav hakohen al chatato asher chata v'nislach lo. Which is, the meaning of that is, and he shall remove all its fat, just as the sheep's fat is removed from the peace offering. The Kohen shall then cause them to go up in smoke on the altar, on the altar, upon the fires for the Lord. Thus the Kohen shall make atonement for him for his sin which he committed, and he will be forgiven. We start now chapter 5. We're starting chapter 5. Okay? ונפש כי תחטא ושמע קול עלה והוא עד או ראה או ידע אם לא יגיד ונשא בנו. If a person sins whereby he accepts an oath and he is a witness to some matter by seeing or knowing it, yet he does not testify, he shall bear his transgression. או נפש כי תיגע בכל דבר טמא או בנבלת חיה טמאה או בנבלת בהמה טמאה או בנבלת שרץ טמא ונעלם ממנו והוא טמא והשם. Or if a person touches anything unclean, where it is the carcass of an unclean wild animal, or the carcass of an unclean domestic animal, or the carcass of an unclean creeping animal, and it was hidden from him, he incurs guilt. Oh, כי ייגע בטומאת אדם לכל טומאתו אשר יטמע בה ונעלם ממנו והוא ידע והשם. Or if he touches the uncleanness of a human with any uncleanness through which he may become defiled, and it is hidden from him, and later he knows, he has incurred guilt. O nefesh ki tishava lebate b'sfasayim lihara o lehetev l'chol asher yitvate adam yishvuah v'ne'elam mimenu v'hu yada v'Hashem la'achat me'ele. If a person swears, expressing with his lips to do harm or to do good, whatever a man may express in an oath, and it is hidden from him, and he later knows, he is guilty in any one of these cases. And it shall be, when someone incurs guilt in any one of these cases, he shall confess the sin which he committed. Vehevi et ashamo Adonai al chatato asher chata nekeva min hatzon kesiba o Si'iran izim lachatat v'chiperav hakohen mechatato. He shall bring his guilt offering to the Lord for his sin which he has committed. A female animal from the flock, either a sheep or a goat, for a sin offering, and the Kohen shall make atonement for him. V'im lo tagia yado die same. ויביא את השמו אשר חטא שתי תורים או שתי בני יונה לאדוני אחד לחטאת ואחד לעולה. But if he cannot afford a sheep, he shall bring his guilt offering for that sin that he had committed 2 turtle doves or 2 young doves before the Lord. 1 for a sin offering and 1 for a burnt offering. והביא אותם אל הכהן וקריב את אשר לחטאת הראשונה ומלק את ראשו. He shall bring them to the Kohen, who shall first offer up that bird which is designated for the sin offering. He shall cut its head by piercing with his nail opposite the back of its head, but shall not separate it. He shall sprinkle from the blood of the sin offering on the wall of the altar, and the remainder of the blood shall be pressed out onto the base of the altar. It is a sin offering. And he shall offer up the second one as a burnt offering according to the law. Thus the Kohen shall make atonement for him for his sin which he committed, and he shall be forgiven.